A fit and disciplined man is going to travel a lonely road a lot of the times. A lot of the times he's going to find himself lonely, and he's going to find himself excluded from a lot of activities and a lot of old friends and old acquaintances, okay? Because inevitably, when you really lock in, as the youngsters say, when you're locked in, when you're dialed in, your fitness, your nutrition, the things you consume mentally and physically, you are going to inevitably say no to a lot of things and a lot of people, a lot of groups of people. Now, let's talk about Humpty Dumpty. Yes, the children's fable. It still applies to this day. Do you guys remember Humpty Dumpty? Okay, sit down, children. We're about to go over it right now. Okay, so Humpty Dumpty, basically, in a nutshell, is the moral of the story is that Humpty Dumpty was trying to straddle between two sides, and he fell. His big ass fell over the wall and cracked his egg. He cracked his egg and split his yolk, right? And this is an analogy or metaphor, whatever you want to call it, for a healthy and disciplined lifestyle. See, when I say healthy and disciplined, I'm talking about the type of guy who is locked in, who takes the shit serious. Now, he doesn't have to be a militant, uptight guy who never has any kind of fun in his life ever, because trust and believe, when you get fit, when you start looking more sexually attractive, when you start walking with more confidence, you're going to have many opportunities for fun, more than when you were out of shape, right? But that's besides the point for now, because what I'm going to say is that when you're disciplined, you're going to have to say no to a lot of crap. And I'm talking about the type of guy who is on his diet, okay? His diet is going to be 95% healthy and with a little bit of BS here and there. Hey, look, if you want to go out, have wings here and there, stuff like that, that's going to happen to some extent at some point, okay? But 95% of the time, you're going to have to be saying no to a lot of things. You're going to have to say no to a lot of outings. Now, to the type of guy that's like Humpty Dumpty, he's trying to straddle between two lifestyles. Now, the two sides in this case is analogous to a healthy lifestyle and an unhealthy lifestyle. So I'm not talking about the type of guy who, lifts a 5-pound dumbbell and does like 3 curls and then hops on a treadmill for 10 minutes, and the rest of the week is eating Wendy's. Rest of the week is eating Krispy Kreme or Shipley's if you live in Houston or Texas. Not going to be eating ice cream and shit like that for the whole week, whole month, whole year straight. That's Humpty Dumpty. He's trying to dip his toes between two sides. He's hanging around with the same type of people, and he's saying yes to almost everything. And he's saying no maybe 5% of the time. That's not who I'm talking about. That guy is not going to be lonely because he is straddling. He's playing both sides of the wall on some Humpty Dumpty stuff. So he's going to be hanging out a lot of the times. He is going to be hanging out till 4 in the morning. He is going to come home at 5 in the morning and be drunk and be hungover, just like the rest of his friends, just like almost everybody else in his inner circle, just like almost every other person that lives in a Western world. He's going to miss 3 days of the gym because now he's tired, mineral depleted. Okay, I'm not talking about that guy. I'm talking about the guy that is truly and really disciplined and fit. He is going to be saying no. He's going to be rejecting a lot of things more than he's going to be doing it. Like if there's some sort of event, if there's some sort of, hell, even sometimes family gatherings, we can't control who our family is. And my family isn't like that per se, but I know other people's families, when they get together, they're going to eat until their buttons pop off their shirt because their stomach is about to explode. They're going to drink themselves like a darn fish. And that's pretty much what they do every single time. Unfortunately, if you're really, really about this, if you're really about that life, you're really about it. Master P, you know what I'm saying? Shout out Master P, bad about it. then you're gonna have to say no even to some family. Yes, that's how serious it gets. And they're gonna be like, dang, this dude is acting brand new, or he thinks he's too good for us, this and that. And they're gonna start saying stuff like that. Not only family, let's go to the friends as well. Your friends, your old group of friends, or the average person, they're gonna be like, oh, this dude is different. He's saying no to everything, and he thinks he's too good. Sometimes they might even be like, he thinks he's too good, or he's on his little diet again. But when you're really serious, once again, I'm talking to my guys that are really about this shit. Okay, they're gonna start seeing changes. They're gonna start seeing your face slimming down a little bit. They're gonna start seeing your face start chiseling. Now they can actually see your chin. They can actually see a little bit of your jawline. Not saying you're gonna be a Greek god, okay, but now your face is coming in the form. They can start seeing your arms shrinking down in the size. You're losing some of that fat. They start seeing your stomach shrinking down a little bit. They start seeing you progressing. They start seeing you becoming a solid guy. Before, they might have seen you as a dude that was kind of flabby or average or skinny fat, you know, just just whatever type of person, just a regular run-of-the-mill Joe Schmo. Now they start seeing changes in you. Now they're gonna be like, dang, you know, this dude is really about his stuff. Like, he's really doing what he said he's doing, and he hasn't stopped yet. He hasn't stopped since. Because let's just be quite frank, by you doing this, you're gonna have to say no. You're gonna have to exclude yourself. Okay? And when I say lonely, you're gonna be forced to be lonely. You're gonna force yourself to be lonely. You're gonna want to be lonely by force sometimes, because you want it so bad. You would rather not hang out with your old friends or your old acquaintances, and you would rather stay indoors, hit the gym, and focus on your diet, focus on the macros, or focus on nutrition, focus on recovering. And hey, look, sometimes you might, like I said, you're gonna reap the fruits of your benefits. So you are gonna become sexually attractive. Of course, you're gonna want to hang out with a lady or two every once in a while, but for the most part, you're gonna be on your shit. You're gonna be on your grind. Hell, even with them, even with women, you're gonna have to say no if they want to go have drinks and party excessively and excessively eat to a gluttonous level. You know what the average chick does. Okay, you're gonna have to say, even if you are a guy that drinks, you're gonna have to moderate it in extremes, to the point where it's like, okay, I might as well just say no to most of the times, because I'm gonna have to moderate it. Okay, but you're gonna want to start doing that. They're gonna start seeing that you're transforming into a solid guy. All that fat, all of that excess BS is gonna start coming off of you. And guess what? They can say all that crap. They could exclude you, but they can't deny the results, right? They can't deny that you're starting to lose weight, that you're starting to lose fat, that you are looking more tight. You know, your waist is shrinking. Your stomach isn't poking out like Pillsbury Doughboy anymore, right? Your stomach isn't protruding. Your shirt isn't looking all weird and discombobulated and oddly shaped, because your stomach is ruining the flow of your shirt. Now you got some nice broad shoulders, nice trimmed down, leaner, broader shoulders with a leaner face, leaner arms, and your stomach is decreasing week by week. So now that protrusion that's coming out of your shirt is shrinking and shrinking, to the point where people are starting to notice, like, man, you've been losing some weight, right? We see it, and it's undeniable. But all that came from taking that lonely road. You know, you're gonna start seeing definition in your shoulders. You're gonna start seeing definition in your chest, right? You're gonna start seeing your body getting sculpted like a Greek statue. You know, everyone likes to reference Greek statues because You can see the sculpt. That's what makes it something to aspire to, because it's sculpted carefully. A lean, athletic, more formed physique, precision. That's what it screams, right? And that's what people respect. People respect that. And then when they start seeing that, they're gonna respect you. They're gonna respect you way more for saying no. They're gonna be like, okay, we see why he was saying no. They might still hate on you. And let me tell you something that's unfortunate. Some people might not like you even more. F them. Forget them. You don't need them anyway. Okay? If they don't like you even more for progressing, that's their freaking problem. So forget what they think. F what they talk about. Anyways, but even them, they're gonna be like, dang, like dude really did it. Like in the back of their head, if there weren't such haters, they would congratulate you, because they've seen the progress that you have made. They've seen that you've lost a considerable amount of weight. And guys, when you are 30, 40 pounds, a lot of guys underestimate how much fat they need to lose. But if you're really serious, if you really did your research, you would know you probably need to lose about 30 to 40 pounds. A lot of guys think it's just 10. The average guy is about 40 pounds, 30 pounds overweight. Now, obviously, I'm not a doctor. You need to look into that, okay? But when you lose that 30 pounds, 40 pounds, you're going to look like a different person, dog. You're going to be a completely different person. And they're going to notice that, and it's going to click like, okay, this guy was saying no for a reason. Like, that's what they're going to start thinking. They're going to be like, okay, I see his vision now. I see what he was doing. He was in a lab. He was cooking. He was cooking up something serious, and he was in a lab. And no wonder he was saying no to our usual outings that started at 11 o'clock and didn't finish till 5 in the morning. No wonder he was saying no in the office to all of those cookies, all of those cupcakes, all of those Chick-fil-A meals, all of that pizza that they were bringing in. That pizza that your company brings in instead of a promotion. No wonder he was saying no to that, because a lot of guys, man, the whole Humpty Dumpty situation, they straddle. They're not going to say no most of the time. They're going to think in their head, yeah, I'm going to be healthy and all that shit. But they're going to say yes to the pizzas. They're going to say yes to the cupcakes. But you didn't. Anyway, with that being said, I'm out. Peace.